What's up everybody? Welcome to a very special Christmas episode here at Vivid Iceland. Today we are in the far north. We're in Akureyri once again. It's been a little bit over a year since my last visit up here, and I think probably about 2 years since my last visit in winter. I'm spending Christmas with my family and we're checking out some amazing sights around the city, a little bit outside of the city. There's a big raven that just flew over the top of us there. So our first stop is the Christmas house. Let's go check it out. Now, this was my first time visiting the Christmas house, also known as Jólahúsið in Icelandic, which is only a 10 to 15 minute drive south of Akureyri. We popped into the farmer's market, a specialty food store, to see what they had on offer. There was a huge variety of artisanal handicrafts from Scandinavia and other northern regions of Europe. These ranged from homewares, Christmas decorations, and of course many delicious foods that are not normally found in Icelandic supermarkets. Opposite the farmer's market is the Christmas house. Made to look like a giant gingerbread house, this building is decked out with giant candy canes, licorice lollies, and icicle frosting lining the perimeter. Inside is where you'll find anything and everything Christmas related, including small wooden figures of the 13 mischievous Icelandic Santas, also known as the Yule Lads, and downstairs is their mother's spooky cave dwelling. I'll put a link in the description if you want to learn a little bit more about Icelandic Christmas folklore. We also spotted Santa working overtime at the cashier. Right outside the Christmas house is a tall tower containing the world's largest advent calendar. Climbing up the slippery, snow-covered steps, you'll find a room on the second floor with 24 doors to open, each of them with their own little fairy tale inside. I can't forget to mention that round the backside of the Christmas house, you'll find a little elf church, where it is said that the elves hold their Christmas services. Okay, our next stop today is Saurbæjarkirkja. Hopefully I pronounced that one correctly. This is one of 6 turf houses, or turf churches I should probably say, that is still left here in Iceland. I do believe this one is permanently closed though. I don't think you can go inside unless for special occasions, or I guess if you know the guy who owns the land here. But we're going to have a quick walk around and enjoy the snowy graveyard as well. Saurbæjarkirkja is the largest of the 6 remaining turf churches that have been preserved in the country. It was built all the way back in 1858 by master carpenter Ólafur Briem, who studied carpentry in Copenhagen. The door of Saurbæjarkirkja was influenced by the classical architecture style that Ólafur learned in Denmark. The turf walls on this church look remarkably sturdy for their age. I'm tempted to build my own turf house one day. And if you'd like to see that on this channel, leave a comment below. Strolling around the churchyard, you'll find some very old tombstones, with some dating back to the late 1800s. And opposite the church, you'll also find some very old farm machinery, a bit like a tractor graveyard, in fact. Rightio, it's the next day, Christmas Eve here up in Akureyri. We've had a huge dumping of snow, as you can probably see around me here. We decided to start our day off with a nice little walk here in the Akureyri Botanical Gardens. Of course, I've been here a couple of times in some previous videos up in the north, so I'll link them up top as usual. I think we're just going to enjoy the peace and serenity, walk around these beautiful snow-covered gardens before heading home and cooking our Christmas dinner. While certainly not as vibrant and colourful as my last visit during the autumn, it was well worth coming back here to enjoy the tranquility of the freshly fallen snow. It's not often that you get to admire snow-covered trees in Iceland, so we made the most of it. From here, we began to walk down towards the city centre, stopping to admire the beautiful architecture of the old houses that line the street up from the church. Of course, no trip to Akureyri would be complete without visiting the church here in the centre of the town. Looking nice as ever, especially now with the snow covering everything. It's quite peaceful up and around on top of the hill. Reaching the main shopping district of Akureyri, we continued to stroll the snow-covered streets into the sunset because, well, most of the shops and restaurants were closed due to it being Christmas Eve. We trudged up a little-known walking trail that takes you up a snowy hillside tucked away in a small neighborhood on the edge of the city. The trail took us back to the botanical gardens so that we could finish our walk around the other half that we missed earlier in the day. Then we set off back home to cook our Christmas dinner.
Good afternoon. We are spending our final day here in North Iceland at the magnificent Goðafoss. Of course, I've been here a couple of times in some of my previous videos, so make sure you go check them out. Today, we're venturing over to the western side of the waterfall. It's probably a little bit less traveled compared to the eastern side. So we're going to go take a look and get a view of this waterfall from a nice and new, different perspective.
A short walk down from the eastern car park, you'll find an old bridge that pedestrians can cross, which will lead you to the western side of the waterfall. If you're attempting this in winter, make sure you bring crampons or micro spikes, as the ice and snow is very slippery in places. We were alone the whole time here on the western side, so if you want to get away from the crowds, this is the place to be. In the summer, I can imagine that it would be quite nice to enjoy a picnic lunch here while overlooking this magnificent waterfall.
Okay, quite impressive from the western side. I think might even be my favorite side of the waterfall. Nice to see something a little bit different. We're going to continue now, head back to the car, which is on the eastern side of the river, and we might even go check out the eastern side as well. We're here, so we'll go have a look. Now let me know in the comments below which side you preferred, the east or the west. I might put side-by-side footage and yeah, you guys can be the judge.
Walking back over to the eastern side, we crossed a small wooden bridge downstream from the waterfall, pausing to marvel at the crystal clear blue waters that originate from the massive Vatnajökull glacier. We took a quick look over the waterfall from the usual viewpoint before jumping back into the car and heading back home before our long journey south to Reykjavik the following day. On the way back south from Akureyri, we stopped at my favorite cafe in Borganes, Cafe Kyrð. It was super cozy this time of year, with Christmas decorations adorning nearly every nook and cranny of this already eccentric cafe. I can also highly recommend their paninis and quiches, well worth the stop on your next trip around Iceland. That about wraps up this episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you're in need of travel planning services or inspiration for your next holiday here, head over to my website vividiceland.is and check out my new travel map. Or for more info, get in touch via the QR codes on screen now. I look forward to seeing you all here.